I declare war. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been on this channel, but I saw this article about Donald Trump's meeting at the White House where he gathered these 20 Negro pastors, and these pastors were heaping all kinds of praise upon him. And when I heard one of the comments from one of these pastors, I just had to do this video because this is just outrageous that someone would praise this man the way this particular pastor did. And I'll get into that in a second. So I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from this article, and then I'm going to provide my commentary. It says, in a roundtable discussion with nearly 20 inner city pastors and faith leaders, Trump touted a low unemployment rate and booming economy that he said will make it easier for former prisoners to reintegrate into society. You know, he talked about this First Step program, and I'll post a link in the description box to an article on The Hill that criticizes this program. It talks about how this particular program that he's touting will not address the problem of mass incarceration, and in fact may cause even more of a problem of mass incarceration. I'm not going to go into detail about that particular article right now. Instead, I encourage you all to read that article for yourself. Again, it will be in the description box. But the thing that made me have to do this video is this comment right here from this particular pastor. The pastor's name is, hold on one second. His name is Darrell Scott. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him. He was one of the pastors that helped gather all these mediocre Negroes together in the past to meet with Donald Trump. But he said this. He said, this president actually wants to prove something to our community, our faith-based community and our ethnic community. The last president didn't feel like he had to. He got a pass, referring to President Obama. This is probably going to be the most pro-black president I've seen in my lifetime. This is how this Negro, Pastor Darrell Scott, describes Donald Trump as the most pro-black president that he's seen in his lifetime. I mean, that comment on his face is just nonsense. You know, that comment is a blatant example of pandering. This Negro is so delusional that he actually thinks that Donald Trump is pro-black. In fact, the most pro-black, which is absolutely ridiculous given Donald Trump's history. Donald Trump is touting this prison reform program, and this is the same Donald Trump that rescinded Obama's policies with respect of mandatory minimums for nonviolent drug offenders. As soon as Donald Trump got in the White House, he had his Justice Department reverse that policy, where the Obama administration would not use mandatory minimums or pursue mandatory minimums for people who were nonviolent drug offenders. But here you have this man, Donald Trump, rescinding that policy and thereby contributing to the problem of mass incarceration in black communities. But yet he wants to pretend like he's doing something for the black community. This is the same Donald Trump that promoted that voter fraud commission, which was nothing but a commission to undermine and suppress black and Latino voters. How can this man possibly be the most pro-black president you've heard of in your lifetime? This is a man that's trying to get rid of affirmative action, a program that's made it possible for many African Americans to go to college, to go to law school, to go to medical school. How in the hell can you consider this man to be the most pro-black president of your lifetime? Here is a man that condoned racial profiling. He's on record talking about racial profiling. He's on record talking about how he supports New York-style stop and frisk, a program that randomly targeted black people simply because of the neighborhoods in which they live and because of their skin, the color of their skin. Targeted black people, many innocent black people frisked by the police. searched by the police, harassed by the police, humiliated by the police. But Donald Trump is all right with that. How in the hell can this man be considered the most pro-black president in your lifetime? Have you lost your mind, Negro? This is a man who, when it comes to the issue of police brutality, he views that as a local matter. It's not significant to him. It's a non-issue to him. When you have all these examples of black men being killed by police, it's irrelevant to this man. It doesn't matter to this man. In fact, this man doesn't even want to use his Justice Department to force these police departments to enter consent decrees with DOJ to end discriminatory policing practices. How in the hell can this man be considered the most pro-black president in your lifetime? Have you lost your mind? This man, Donald Trump, back in the 70s, he was sued twice for housing discrimination. He did not want to rent to black people. He didn't want to rent to black people, so the Justice Department sued him for housing discrimination, and he was forced to enter a consent decree. How can a man that discriminates against black people be considered to be one of the most pro-black presidents or the most pro-black president that you've ever seen? It's absolutely ridiculous that this man would say that. This is the same Donald Trump who called black football players who refused to stand during the playing of the national anthem, black football players who were protesting against police brutality. He called these players sons of bitches, referring to black women as bitches and referring to black men who stand up as sons of bitches. Black men who are courageous. He said that they should be fired. How in the hell is that pro-black? How in the hell can you consider this man to be pro-black under those circumstances? Here's a man who is cutting Section 8, a program that helps house many black people who are disproportionately poor. Helps house black people. How in the hell can you refer to this man as being the most pro-black president you've seen? Just because this man sits down with a few token house niggas, that doesn't make him pro-black. Just because he entertains you and he does photo ops with you, that doesn't make him pro-black. How in the hell can this man be pro-black when he is cutting food stamp programs that feed poor people, many of whom are disproportionately African American? How is that pro-black? How in the hell can you consider this man to be one of the most pro-black presidents in your lifetime? Then you had a situation in Charlottesville where you had those white supremacists protesting, where you had those white supremacists basically rioting. You had one white supremacist ram his car into a crowd of people, killing one person, killing a woman. You had others beating up protesters, black protesters. You had one fire a gun into a crowd. But in Donald Trump's mind, there were good people on both sides. In Donald Trump's twisted little mind, there were some fine protesters there. You know, referring to those people that were protesting and participating in this white supremacist rally. In his twisted ass mind, those people were some very fine people. This man made excuses for those white supremacists. This man defended those white supremacists. But yet you had this buck dancing, you know, coon pastor, Darrell Scott, having the audacity to say that this man, Donald Trump, is the most pro-black president he's seen in his lifetime. Nigga, have you lost your mind? That's all I have to ask, man. And then this Donald Trump is the same Donald Trump that took out a full-page ad in a New York magazine or newspaper calling for the death penalty to be used against the Central Park rape suspects, who were African American, who were later found to be innocent and they were exonerated. But this man has not issued a single apology to those brothers. That was a racially charged case involving the alleged rape of a white woman. And this man was feeding a lynch mob mentality with that ad. A highly racialized situation. How in the hell can such a man be considered to be the most pro-black president you've seen? This man had even joked about police roughing up suspects when he was speaking before a group of police officers. In this climate where black men are being killed by these police, he jokes about police brutality. How in the hell can you consider this man to be one of the most pro-black presidents you've seen in your lifetime? And I know what he probably would say. He would probably talk about the economy and how Donald Trump is doing such a fantastic job with the economy and this and that. Well, the fact of the matter is the unemployment rate in the black community has been on a decline because of policies that Obama implemented. When Obama took office, the unemployment rate in the black community was high. It was in the double digits. The economy in America was on the decline. You had the mortgage foreclosure crisis and all that stuff, where this country was teetering towards economic collapse. But Obama, because of his policies, he helped save the he helped save the economy, and he helped reduce the black unemployment rate. And because of those policies, the black unemployment rate has been on a steady decline. But here you have this buck dancing, shoe shining, ass kissing Negro, not intelligent enough to recognize that it was the policies of a black man that helped contribute to this low unemployment rate in the black community. This Negro can't point to a single thing that Donald Trump has done to improve the economy. The most that you can give him credit for is not screwing things up. And the way things are looking with these tariffs that he's trying to impose, it looks like the economy may take a hit if he has his way. So I just had to get on here and vent my frustration. I mean, here you have a Negro who doesn't appreciate all the things that Obama did for the black community, but yet he wants to heap praise upon this buffoon, Donald Trump, who hasn't done a damn thing for black people. In fact, he is doing things to harm the black community.